It's freezing out here. We're in Boston. We're about to go meet Jack Gorsline to interview him about some of the things he's reporting on regarding psychedelic policy. I'm excited, I'm cold, and I'm gonna catch a bus, so we'll see how that goes.
As I got to know members of this community, became fiercely protective of and kind of have this fierce sense of obligation to tell their stories, both because I have connected with and been embraced by members of this community, many of whom come from that off the beaten path road or journey as I have to this place and to this community, but also because I've seen really lackluster coverage and large media outlets and fantastic reporters in different spaces that I do really respect just fail to give their readerships and their viewers and their listeners the best form of the argument.
A voracious consumer and now contributor to the ever-changing psychedelic policy news cycle, Jack has made it his mission to improve the lackluster coverage of this topic. The best example of why this is needed comes from the drama surrounding the first beat he ever wrote about, a psychedelic ballot initiative which took place during the November 2024 election in Massachusetts.
Tonight we're focusing on ballot question number 4, which deals with legalizing psychedelic substances. A yes vote would allow people over the age of 21 to grow and use natural psychedelic substances and would also create a commission to regulate them.
While reporting on this campaign, Jack uncovered that James Davis, founder of Bay Staters for Natural Medicine, a well-known grassroots psychedelic group, had taken money from political backers, edged out other activists, and even lied about his identity. The group was also campaigning against the ballot initiative, spreading misinformation to undermine its passage. While there were a lot of reasons Question 4 ultimately didn't pass, legacy media quoted Davis time and time again, contributing to the now bad reputation of the proposed bill.
I think part of it is a combination of this parachute reporting. If you don't know this community, if you're just a reporter who's a general assignment reporter who's assigned to cover this political issue on a flash basis a couple of months before the election, you're not going to necessarily know who to go to. And you're kind of going to lean on prior media coverage from your outlet. But I will also say that there were reporters in the local and regional media here who knew that there were bad actors on both sides of this equation, that weren't credible sources of information, and yet chose to platform them because of the convenience of that story.
A common theme within psychedelic research literature is this idea of a hype bubble, which refers to the possible dangers that come from overpromising on the potential of psychedelic therapy to cure a psychiatric disorder.
Tonight on Four Corners, we investigate the race to unlock the potential of psychedelic drugs as medicine, and a community bitterly divided over how hard and how fast to push, with a potential fortune to be made and some of the most vulnerable at risk. The stakes have never been higher.
Jack admitted that there has been some oversimplification of the psychedelic renaissance, but worries that an overcorrection could fall into familiar, ill-informed anti-drug rhetoric from these bigger news organizations.
But for the most part, I would categorize mainstream or legacy media coverage of psychedelics as negative, and seeking negativity even. I think that that's a byproduct of our media landscape today. We swing from pendulum to pendulum rather than digging into the middle and finding where that middle ground discourse can be. But it's just not as black and white as overly glowing coverage needing to result in overly negative coverage.
So where do you get nuanced coverage of the psychedelic renaissance? Where drug-positive content has always existed: alternative media.
So the alt media or independent media space has phenomenal coverage that a lot of folks don't even really know about, because it's individual writers on Substack writing phenomenal, forward-focusing or thought-provoking pieces, whether it's op-ed, theory, science-driven. But the quality of coverage in that space has improved tenfold over the last decade. and expanded in scope. The issue is finding synergy between legacy media coverage and that really phenomenal, and I wouldn't even call it underground. We're in a post-underground era in terms of media because we have the internet. So much of what comes next has to start with public education, and the media is responsible for amplifying high-quality publication as much as possible. My hope is to continue to document political happenings, state by state, national and international, related to psychedelic policy reform. But also part of that is banding up with some other really phenomenal reporters in this space. And in the next few months, we're going to be launching the Psychedelic Writers Guild, which really the tagline is amplifying and elevating the quality of psychedelic coverage across the media. If we can also build a hub for the very best beat reporters in this space to plug and play them with existing legacy media and alt media outlets to increase and amplify and elevate the quality of that coverage. That's the duality of what I hope the Guild can be as far as interacting with existing media structures.